Oh, wow. So cool. So cool. Hi, everybody. It's good when you're old. They say there's an expression, teaching old dogs new tricks. So I've got an old dog and I'm learning a new trick today. So welcome today. I'm sitting in the Lisbon airport, a little bit jet lagged, but full of energy. And I like the talk that I just heard. I found it was actually really fun. And I'm going to talk to you today about something which is near and dear to my heart, which is AI is being used by everyone all over the place, and they're not getting very good results. And I'm going to talk to you today about how you can get better results. Now, can you just confirm that what you see right now on your screen is according to McKinsey in big letters? Is that on the screen right now, Santi?
Yes,
You see you see a full screen?
yes.
Okay, so here are the facts and figures. According to McKinsey, less than 1 of 10 users of AI are getting any measurable benefit. This is not that they're getting a big benefit. This is getting any type of measurable benefit. And the simple reason is most people are using AI wrong. Now, when I was young, I wanted to be an artist. I wanted to be an artist like Picasso. I loved drawing. I was good, but I was incredibly slow. And sometimes I wonder maybe I was born too early because today AI might be the muse I needed to produce art better, faster, and easier. Today, I'm going to talk to you about a different way of using AI. We'll talk a bit about Picasso to give you an insight into a better way to use AI. Now, Picasso was famous for looking for inspiration on how to develop things all different ways. Um, and his muses helped him a lot. He'd sit in his studio, brush in hand. Before he started painting, he'd ask things like, what am I not seeing? What else could this be? Is this the right place to start or just the easiest? His muse didn't paint for him, but she challenged him, reframed the problem, unlocked new directions. And today, the cool thing is we all have access to a muse, not a mythical muse, but a digital muse called AI. And the good news is you don't have to haunt Paris or beg for divine inspiration. You have a muse that will never sleeps, never gets tired, and unlike Picasso's, won't leave you for a local art dealer. Now, one of the questions you might ask is, who am I to talk about this? Um, I'm Bryan Cassady. I've been an entrepreneur most of my life. And what I've seen in my life is a lot of different businesses in a lot of different places. I've done 11 companies in 6 countries. I've had eight exits along the way. About 10 years ago, people asked me if I would like to teach. And I said, who wants to teach? Teachers, what do teachers do? And it turns out that actually I like to teach. And I'm on a mission now to train 1 million innovators. And to do this, I wrote a great book and a popular course on innovation. But this is the start of my story with AI. So in 2022, I launched my book Cycles. It was research based. It brought together 22 experts. And in my personal opinion, it was a great book. It was going to be the go-to book for companies that want to innovate faster while reducing risk. It won a few awards, and we were ready for the champagne and celebration. And then something horrible came up. Well, actually, something wonderful came up. ChatGPT arrived. Everybody was talking about AI, and AI wasn't even in the index of my book. It felt a little bit like opening the world's most beautiful video rental store right after Netflix launched, and I needed to fix things. So suddenly, I had to go back to school. My job was to get humble fast and start learning all over about this thing called AI. And like an overcaffeinated entrepreneur, I went back to school. I took classes, dove into research, poked around inside companies. Don't worry, they invited me in to ask one question. What really happens when you drop AI into a team trying to innovate? And it's not always what you'd expect. So I started writing up these ideas in a new book called The Generative Organization, an AI playbook backed by facts with 32 experts. And if anyone at the end of this talk puts up a post about this talk, I'll give you a free copy of the book. What I discovered along the way is the future of business is generative. And generative is a word that means different things to different people. So what I'd like to do is tell you what I mean by generative. Generative is a system to create creative things that didn't exist before. It's not just pulling things back. When we use AI, when we talk about AI, we talk about large language models. It's generative. It's making new stuff every time. It's not just pulling stuff down. And a generative organization is about creating systems where AI and humans work better together. And that's why I liked the last presentation. And the problem is most people are not working very well with AI. So I have 3 promises for you today. You'll learn how to build better ideas with AI. You'll learn why most people are failing with AI. And good news is I'm going to give you something you can do today that changes the way you use AI for tomorrow. So one of my most important studies in my search to learn about AI was a program where we generated 5,402 ideas with humans and AI. Now, AI built more ideas, no surprise there. But what might surprise you is we think that creativity is a special domain for human beings. AI was actually better at building ideas than the human beings were, but only when it's done right. Now, if you simply ask AI for ideas, they're not likely to be very good ones because AI is designed to give you the most obvious response. Here's what I see a lot of people do. Give me 10 ideas to do this. And the result is usually a big yawn. It's like, that's not very exciting. How do you actually build good ideas? You have to build them in the same way that you build them with human beings. You need something which is meaningful, meaning that you need to be clear about what you're looking for. And usually that means coming together with stories and restrictions. And you have to build diversity in what you're doing. Now, the way that we built ideas, it's a lot more difficult than this, but basically we had 2 parts. We had one part, which was a clarity of a target. So we said, look, we want ideas to do this. And the most important part of what we talked about was having a story, a narrative. And I have something which we call True North, which is a way of organizing your thinking in a way that other people understand. But also, this works really good to explain something to AI so AI understands what you want to do. So it's about a story, it's an objective. What don't you want? What are the constraints? Here's a place to start and a simple summary. Next to that, we used different prompts to work with AI, which are built on a simple framework, which is called CAR, which is a context. I want you to think like this. I want you to do this, which is the action, and I have a result. Now, what did we get out of this? Well, we got 5,000 ideas. And the reality is nobody really wants 5,000 ideas to do anything. Maybe 5,000 gift ideas for my wife would be a good idea because I seem to run out of them all the time. But honestly, what you want is great ideas. So what we did is we took all 5,000 ideas and we scored them in the ones that are in the top number, the top 5%. And I'd like to give you a few numbers. Human beings working on their own generated about 1.4 great ideas per 100. If we take AI and add it into the mix and a little bit of clarity on the target, we end up increasing the number of ideas from 1.4 to 2.3. This is a big jump. This is a cool difference. But now comes the thing that's really cool, is if we start using those tools that we talked about, the context, and using ways that we build ideas, like we build them with human beings, we got lots and lots of better ideas. You had some different creative tools. For example, alternative views. I want you to build ideas like your Elon Musk. I want you to build them like your Steve Jobs. You have things like Scamper, the 6 thinking hats, creative combinations, and a whole bunch of other methods. And what we ended up getting here is not only did we get more ideas, but we got substantially better ideas. And how much better the ideas are. In this case, Triz, which I'm sure not many people here know about, was generating 7.5 top ideas per 100, which is almost exactly 5 times what the human beings were doing on their own. Now, I want to make something really clear to you. This is not 5 times more ideas. This is the on-base percentage. It's 5 times more top ideas per 100. So not only do you get more ideas, but you get much better ideas. Now, the problem we have, at least the companies I'm working with, is a couple issues in the ways that we use AI. The first is we expect AI to make up for our weak thinking. Mediocre thinking is not a great way to get brilliant results. When you don't ask the right questions, it doesn't give you the right answers. When you don't think hard about the questions, you don't get good answers. There are also some predictable issues in the ways that we use AI, and these are well-known behavioral issues that lead human beings to do the wrong things again and again. And we also do this when we're working with AI. The first we have is something which I'll call an overconfidence bias. You get something back from AI. AI says, fantastic, this is great. We trust AI. AI is wonderful. Did you know that AI lies to you? Did you know that AI doesn't tell you the truth a lot of the time? And we trust AI way too much. And the reason we trust it too much is it sounds confident and we accept what it says. Sounding smart is not the same as being right. The second thing that we do with AI is something called cognitive offloading. When someone else is thinking, we rely on other people. When you're driving in a car and somebody has the directions, we stop thinking about where we need to go. When we're working with AI and AI is thinking, we say it's okay to turn our brains off. So instead of iterating, people settle, especially when they're under time pressure. Lastly, in every part of our life, there's something called confirmation bias. And confirmation bias is basically you're looking for the answers that you wanted to get. And when you look for the answers that you wanted to get, we tend to see what we want to see. I know for me personally, a lot of times I'll keep prompting until AI agrees with me, or I'll ask questions to people until they agree with me, or we simply just interpret things in the way that we want them. That's not working together. That's really working alone. But everything sort of boils down to one sentence. It's about satisficing and stopping thinking. And if I look, let's be honest, most professionals use AI like a fancy search engine. They write better emails, they make faster slides, then they move on. People are using AI and seldom really working with it. Now, what I see is most people see AI as an oracle. It's the place that you go to get information. There's some people that are hesitant to put too much faith in AI. They keep their brains on and they don't see AI as all knowing or AI as a replacement. These people are looking, of course, for answers, but more importantly, they use AI for inspiration. AI is a creative partner. They work with AI to find answers, and they say that AI should not be an oracle, but a muse, a creative partner. Now, I don't see my chat here because of some bizarre reason, but if you have questions or want to stop me, just yell out. The reality is too many people are on the search for the magic bullets. The tools will make everything perfect and easy and simple to run. No, the truth is there aren't magic bullets. There aren't magic problems. If you want to get good results with AI, what you need to do is use good thinking, clever thinking, and you need, in my personal opinion, sparks on how to use it. The reason why you need to learn to think when you're using AI is so regardless of the tool you're using, and there's 40,000, 50,000 tools on how to use AI, so regardless of the tool you're using, you're always getting better results. And if I want to summarize everything I'm going to say today in one line, what you need to do is stop using AI and start working with AI. Now, the way that I'm going to try to get you to something you can remember Because back in school, we used acronyms. Acronyms were, little memory tricks that would help us remember something. I'm going to use one today. There's a word I love, which is sparks, because sparks of insight are closely tied to innovation success. We're going to use this word to help you see how you can work differently with AI. And just like back in school, each letter stands for an important principle. And we're going to go through them one by one. But basically, it's speak things out, pivot roles, ask for more, reframe, keep going, stop and think. And we'll go through it step by step. The starting point is speaking things out to get in the flow. Picasso spoke to his muse. He didn't write a memo. He didn't write an email because it was easier to talk. And you can do the same with AI. Instead of typing your prompt, talk out loud. And the reason for this is really simple, is we usually think different and better when we talk. Talking's not a gimmick. It's a way to get into the flow. What we're going to do is we're going to take an example from his life. Picasso's most expensive painting ever was the Femme d'Alger. The final version is shown here in the slide. He created 15 paintings in the series. I think the final price that he sold this for was $132 million. But it all started with a classic painting called The Women of Algiers, which was at the Louvre, painted by a guy named Francois Louvre. Picasso would go to the Louvre at least once a month, or so the story is told. And here's what I could imagine him talking about. I keep thinking about that damn Delacroix painting, The Woman of Algiers, all curves, cushions, quiet secrets. They're too perfect, too finished, like a stage play. Everyone in place, everyone behaving. I want them alive. I want them to break the curtain. I want things to be different. I want their elegance to unravel. The curves, cut them, bodies, flatten them, explode them. No more gaze. Just change it. I want something different. I want color. I want something better than this. Now, Picasso didn't have AI, but if he did, he could have talked like this and had AI organize his thoughts. What you can do is you can say, based on this talk, based on what I've just said to you, give me a prompt I could use to make a first new painting. And AI is great at interpreting what you have to say, to find meanings. Sometimes it's spot on, sometimes it's not. Here's the prompt that came out of this. I'd like you to create a painting that begins with a classical scene of stillness and beauty, a room of reclining figures, richly adorned like Delacroix's Women of Algiers. Now destroy it, fragment the bodies, twist the angles, let the background swallow the foreground, use violent colors, replace the elegance with energy, symmetry. It must still be human, it must be reverent, but it must wrestle with the past. Make the painting feel like it survived an explosion and still alive. Now, what I find is amazing is I didn't touch a word. This is AI writing this, and I think it's pretty good. And I'm going to give you a test. So one of these is the first painting that Picasso painted in the Femme d'Alger series. That one sold for 32 million. The other one is not even worth 32 cents. Now, what I'd like you to do is in the chat, let's see if I got people are awake here. You have to put in A or B in the chat and tell me which one you think was done by AI and which one you think was done by Picasso. Let's see what we have here. A. You guys are good. A. B is A. My goodness. It's the first time that I've seen where most people get it right. B is AI. This time you're correct. The correct answer was Picasso was the one on the left. The AI image is the one on the right. But if you think you're really clever, the test is going to get harder and we're going to be grading on a curve. So we'll see how you get to the next one. So did you get it right? Usually about 50% of people get it wrong. Now, my first message to you is simple. When you start out using AI, if you want getting better results, is talk with AI to get your thoughts flowing, then let AI figure out what you're saying. In practice, what I've seen is a lot of people doing things which are quite interesting. I worked with a founder, um, and she wanted to build a pitch using only her voice. And she said, when I speak, I get the heart of what I want to say, more clear and more there. She used AI as a sounding board, recording the pitch over 3 rounds just by talking. And because she was talking, the pitch sounded like her. There's even a tool called Whisper Ring. I don't know if any of you have seen it. It's a voice AI device you can whisper into while you're talking, walking, cooking, while you're thinking. That's step number one. Step number two, in the process of working better with AI, is pivoting the way that you're working with AI. Because questions, honestly, are often better than answers. Picasso didn't always paint the same way. Sometimes it was cubist, sometimes it was classical, sometimes it was childlike, sometimes he didn't even know. A good starting point was often a talk before he started. His favorite way was to have his muse ask him questions. You can do the same with AI. This can be as simple as telling AI what you're working on and asking a few questions along the way. You could have a talk. And here's how a talk with Picasso might have had with his muse or AI. What are you trying to accomplish with this series? Tribute, rebellion, reinvention, or something else? Picasso might say, well, I like this guy. He's really good. I want a tribute. And what are you paying tribute to? His subject, his technique? What do you want to do? Well, you know what? I want to honor the feeling what's there. And you can keep on going back and forth and asking questions. And in that process, just like you're working with the work that you're doing, you can ask AI. So based on my conversation, create a new prompt to create a new version of my first prompt. Now, I'm not going to read out this prompt here, but basically it took those answers and it came back and it gave a new version. And what I'm going to show you is the next version. And you get to take a guess again. So we have 2 follow-up images. One of them, I'd like you to vote which one is the real Picasso. And this time again, you have to choose A or B. Let's see who get it right. And what I'm going to do is wait just a second and see what you come out with. I don't B. Come on, more votes coming in. Come on, it's just a click, just a click. Keep on going, keep on going. All right. So B. Now I want to tell you something. Every one of you got it wrong. And how do I know you got it wrong? Because it was a trick question. Neither one of them was a Picasso. But my bet is you thought one of them could be a Picasso. So the message here is before letting AI get started, let it ask a few questions. Because when it asks you questions, you'll get better in terms of where you're going. Yes, I was cheating. I was framing the question. If you want a truly amazing, eye-opening talk with AI, I've got a suggestion for you. If you're looking to figure out how AI fits into your work that you're doing and what you're working on, try this out. I'd like your help figuring out how AI can best support the following project. Of course, you'll have to explain what your project's about. Ask me questions one at a time about my goals, processes, constraints until you have enough context to give a few obvious and few non-obvious AI recommendations. Now, most of you won't do this, but I guarantee you it will be one of the best and most interesting conversations you will ever have with AI, because it will show you how AI can help you think more clearly than you ever thought before. I'm going to leave it up here for just a second, so you take a screenshot of this. Really, it's worth the time. You'll be able to get a copy of the slides at the end, but come back and do it. But I'll come back to that again at the end. The next step is about asking for more, because the first answer is only the starting line. Now, Picasso had a famous work ethic. He kept on trying and improving all the time. I don't think he ever asked his muse to do his work for him, but you have a muse, you can ask for more. And each time you ask, it will give you another answer. Now, his most expensive art was La Femme d'Angoulême. This was his 15th and final painting in the series. Maybe it was perfect, but he could have kept on going. What we could do is we could say, look, what we've got, I'd like you to make this in a primitive version. I'd like you to make it like Matisse, and I'd like you to make it look something with kaleidoscope eyes like a bug might see it. Now, I don't know what you think about these. They're not fantastic, but at least they're good. And they're giving you creativity and new ideas and new perspectives. What's cool is you can keep on asking questions again and again. I don't know if you know, on the bottom of ChatGPT, you have a regenerate button. As a rule of thumb, I ask my clients to push regenerate 2 or 3 times when they're having an important conversation to see where they're going to get. So if you want better ideas, don't accept the first answer. Just keep on going until you get better and better. Now, let me give you a real life example. I was working with a retail innovation team, and they wanted to design a new loyalty program and figure out better ways that they could market their products and services. Now, the first thing they did is they did what everybody asks, which is, design me a new loyalty program. AI gave them all the obvious stuff, points, rewards, and I said, give us 10 more ideas, not obvious ones. Then give us 10 ideas based on regret, not reward. This unlocks something completely different because it gave them a different way of thinking, something which was different, something which was better, something which is inconsistent. And the end result is they ended up generating a program not on rewards, but on regrets of not getting things that you want, got much better results. R is about reframing, because it's when you have new angles that we find new perspectives on things. Picasso didn't ask, what should I paint? He asked, could I show this from another angle? Could I do it differently? Can I see new questions? You can and should use AI to reframe your questions. Now, we ran a study on idea generation, and we found the strongest predictor of the number and quality of ideas is the number of ways we ask a question. What happens is when you ask the same question over time, the number of ideas goes down over time because you get tired and even AI gets tired. But the more different ways that you propose your question, the better the results will come out. The simplest and best way I've seen of doing this in practice is using how might we? How might we do this? How might we do that? How might we be different here? We've been working with a hospital, and they're asking a question about how you could speed up discharge. We reframe the question. How might we make treatment at home safer? How might we make treatment at home faster? How might we make it more joyful? Could I flips the canvas? The result is they came up with remote care options that reduce the cost of stay by 22%. Each time you ask AI to look from a new perspective, you're going to get new ideas. And now we're almost there. We're at K, which is about keep on asking. You have to challenge what you do because AI can do a lot more. Now, great ideas from AI, great ideas from human beings don't come in one shot. Too often we give up excited by the first results. In social science, that's what we call satisficing. There's a definition of creativity that I love that comes from a book by Jeremy Utley from a 7-year-old child. He said, creativity is doing more than the first thing they've thought of. Keep asking, what did I miss? What are we missing? And how can I see things different? Now, one way to keep on going is actually to use AI to evaluate what you're doing. You might say, this is my final version. Please evaluate the painting. Give me 3 ideas for versions that better express these women's beauty and the painter's viewer's longing. Give me detailed comments and instructions. Provide ideas one by one. What that might lead to is a different perspective on the same artwork, which is different. I don't know if it's good, but it is definitely a step in a different direction. I think it's kind of tacky with the little hearts here, but that's AI coming up with it. The reality is with AI, everybody's pretty good, and that's available to everybody. You need to remember how hard it was to pick out Picasso's work earlier. Exceptional work, exceptional results still take sweat, even if you're using AI. It's exceptional work from you, from the machine. You need volume, you need variation, and you need to generate good ideas, and you need to generate bad ideas. The rules of creativity haven't changed. In my work, I see companies that are always looking to go one step further, are the ones that get better and better. When I worked with Moderna, and they looked at different ways they can use AI models to improve the amount mRNA design every round. They got better results, faster breakthroughs. I worked with a small team that was trying to rewrite their entire product strategy. They would build it, they would critique it, they would rebuild it until they got something that was bulletproof. Now we're at the end. This is the most important part because the thing that we do most wrong, most often, is we don't stop to think. S is about strategic pauses because real insight lives in the pause, not in the rush. Picasso stepped back. He looked, he reflected, painted again. You should too. You need to put in strategic pauses. After 10 prompts, after a half hour, ask, what did I learn? What changed in how I see the problem? What should I do next? And that pause, that moment of insight is where the real value happens. There was a great study by The Economist a few years back where they looked at 312 companies. Some of the companies had strategic pauses and some of them didn't. The ones that didn't were go, 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 go. The ones that stopped and thought sold 40% more and earned 52% higher profits. Can you think of a better reason to stop and think? Now, if you want to unlock the potential of AI, you need to shift your mindset from simply using AI to working with it. It involves a new type of partnership built on a few key principles. One is about teaming up with AI. You work with team members different than you work with tools. Make AI a team member. You need to be patient. Your new AI teammate will try anything you ask it. Sometimes it will fail. And you need to give feedback and learn from each other. One of the best things I've seen is I was working with a company and they just asked AI to write a long document for them and they were re-editing it. And I asked, have you ever asked AI to just rewrite it for you with your feedback? Said, look, I'd never thought of that. Now, to close things out, to show you that people can work with AI differently. People often ask me, how do you know this can work? I do a lot of research, but I don't typically show them research papers because nobody reads research papers. I talk to people about my mom. My mom is 82 years young. I can't use the word old and my mom in the same sentence. Her and my dad just got back from a trip to Europe. They were jet lagged, cranky, and hungry. I probably talked a bit too much about AI while they were here. My mom called. Bryan, we just got home. We're starving, too tired to go out, no food. Can your AI thingy help with that? Expecting, of course, I'd say no. I asked Mom, what's in the fridge? She said, I don't know. Half a zucchini, maybe some tomatoes. I said, take a picture and then say, ask AI what you could make with that. She tried and then said something that made me smile. I would have never thought of that. But AI stuff worked. AI came back with roasted tomato zucchini pasta with lemon garlic oil. 15 minutes later, she was plating it like a Food Network star. If my mom at 82 years old can work differently with AI, you can too. A question you might ask at the end is, let's go back to Picasso. Would he have used AI? I have absolutely no doubts he would use AI. But he wouldn't ask AI for answers. He would ask AI to help him see things differently. He'd ask him to challenge him, confuse him, surprise him. And when it gave a weird answer, he'd ask for 10 more. He wouldn't get frustrated. That's what we get to now. You don't need to be a genius. You don't need to code. You just need to work with AI. Be curious, ask AI better questions, keep thinking. With AI, everyone has a muse. And the question is, will you use yours? I'm going to end with a challenge for you. Now, it's easy to stop this and say, I've seen this. If you take a minute and start using Sparks now, record some thoughts about this talk, go stream of conscious, talk about it, ask ChatGPT to summarize your thoughts, use one of the tools here, tag me, and if you tag me and I like it, I'll send you a copy of my book free of charge. And I have a hint for you. If you tell me a story about your mom or your grandma, you're almost certain to win a copy of the book. Now, where do you go next? I'm going to ask you to take a screenshot of something. So if you take a picture of this screen, what you'll have is you'll have an acronym that you could use tomorrow to work with AI better. You'll also get a chance to get a copy of my book. Print it out, put it on your desk, schedule a time to try each of them, but try each method. But most importantly, do the first one now. And the first one and the second one is actually built into a single prompt. It says, I have to read this one. You're a social media expert. Would you please draft a post for me that I can share? I was at a great talk with Professor Bryan Cassady. I learned. Tell me what you learned. But first, ask me 2 questions to help make my post interesting and clarify what I've learned. So I hope to hear about your mom using AI. I hope this was kind of fun in some ways. And I have to say, I'm a bit jet lagged. So I hope that it was interesting and useful for you. I have fun. And we have time for questions, I think, Dante. Is that correct?
Yes, we have plenty of time for questions. Amazing speak. Thank you so much, Professor.
So who's going to tell me about their mom? Come on. Say yes. Make a commitment to yourself.
Can I take
So
a couple of words?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. This one is very personal to me. We lost my uncle 10 years ago, and we had only one picture of him because he was a soldier working for the army and he wasn't available at the moment. And with one picture, I managed to make my mom cry because I made a video film about him, and it was only one black and white picture. Okay, he was so away. And with that 30 seconds video, all the family started crying because this is the only one we have for him. And then we made him live, and then she started learning about it and making his old pictures with replicate. My mom is 77, okay? She uses WhatsApp, Facebook better than me. And she learned how to use replicate to restore those old images. Okay, she's not a coder, she's not a programmer. Again, she's born in 1947, and she made that for all the friends who lost someone or whatever. It was the moment I created this feeling. This will work. Maybe not now, but even if my mom can do this and make people happy or cry out of happiness, this will work. This is just a use case I just wanted to share with you, Professor.
No, I think this is good. And I think what you found is a good question. AI is getting better and better every day. And in fact, the question you need to ask is, could I do this? Could I do that? Could I do that? But the reality is most people don't get very good results because they don't use it correctly. But if you use it correctly, with all the new tools, and you use a little bit of thinking behind it, you'll get amazing results. So the fact that your mom has started using this to restore photos, it's fantastic. I heard another story about somebody who was restoring somebody's voice. I have my grandfather died a while back, and we have a couple videos of him. And we actually have a video that we showed at a family picnic of him telling a joke. But of course, he couldn't be telling the joke. I think that's really cool. I appreciate your story you shared.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, we can have more questions. We still have time.
I have a question. Does anybody remember what the keys were to making good ideas with AI? I talked about it, and I think I went pretty fast. Because if you ask AI to generate ideas for you, it won't generate very good ideas. Partnership, now that's definitely there. It's about thinking together with AI is a very important part. The most important part is the thinking that you put in place before you start working with AI. So the idea is you're clear about what you want to do. And if you work with AI correctly, it will help you identify ways to be more clear about what you want. But there's something that I've come across with, and I'm a little bit scared about for the future, is everybody thinks expertise is dying. In fact, I think expertise is going to be more needed now than ever before, because the ability to ask the right questions is based on real expertise. The tools and techniques that we use to get AI to generate better ideas are not things that AI knew, but it's things that our team knew. And I think asking good questions is built on expertise, and it's not the time to give up on building expertise. Oh, I love the picture here. Is that a real picture?
Hello. I use my mom's primary school photo and my grandma's photo together, and they never had that moment before. And I create a new that's really touchy, real moment. Like that.
I love this. Thank you for involving me in that. It makes me smile.
Thank you for your sharing. It was inspiring. Thank you.
So knowing how hard it is to ask a first question, who has a second question to start things with?
Yeah, actually, I want to ask about an advice for managers. You know, now we are managing people, managing projects, but in some cases, AI is going to be a resource as a team member. And what is going to be your advices for managers? Because there is a different creature or a worker or a team member, whatever you define, and it doesn't moan, it doesn't complain, it work hard, but it has a different thinking style. And how can we use it as a worker or as an agent or as a collaborative helper? Because I think we need to understand this creature because possibly we will be managing these AI resources when they have more expertise or mm, or creative skills.
So let me answer this by giving you something which is a bit counterintuitive. Everyone thinks we need new skills to manage AI. I actually think we have to go backwards and do the things that we were supposed to do many years ago. When you manage a team, what you need to do is extraordinarily clear about what you want to be done. And people are lazy. You know, with your AI, AI figures this stuff out. So the first thing is, just like before, if you want to use this new team member, you need to be clear. And the best way to be clear with human beings and with AI is actually exactly the same way. It's by talking in stories. AI is a context machine. AI is not something you give a list of facts to. You tell stories to get people to understand, tell stories to get AI to understand. The second thing is a good manager is very good at giving feedback to human beings, but that good manager also has to give feedback to AI. So the AI is learning how to do things effectively and doing things that you want it to do. So you have to say clarity of objective, clarity of feedback, the two come together. And I don't know if that answers your question, but I think that's the foundations that everything else is built on. Whether you're using agents and whether you're using, which LLM you are, I think that's less important than getting the basics of being a good manager right. sometimes it's quite difficult to differentiate AI pictures from real pictures. Actually, one of the things that I just read was at an event last week, and they said everything that you see on a screen is not going to be true in the future. 90% of images in the future are going to be AI. So just assume that it's all made up. Just give up on the idea. If you want to know if something is really true, you have to touch and feel them. And I think we're going to have this movement back to actually talking to people again. We're going to do less things on Zoom. We're going to do things that are more real, and we're going to be looking for more real human contact. So anyways, that was my talk today. I hope you felt a little bit of energy, even though I'm jet lagged and didn't have it in me. But I appreciate Dante for the chance to chat today, and I'm honored to have your presence. Thank you very much. If you guys if you have the screenshot, I will share in the chat here a link to the talk. If you send me something on LinkedIn and you tag me, I'll send you a free copy of my book. It's a really good book. And I know I think every author tells you their book is great, but I think my book was good.
Oh my goodness.
So it's there, Mustafa, you've put it in. So all you need to do, and my name is Bryan Cassady. Thank you very much.
Yes,
And what I'll do, Dante, before I go, is I'll just put a link in the chat and people can get a copy of the talk.
That will be amazing. And we encourage everybody to put a screenshot on LinkedIn, tag Bryan Cassady, so we can also at least contribute to his great speech, say thank you in our own way. That would be great. And we really do appreciate your genuine insights. It was amazing, Professor.
Thank you, Dante. All right, I'm going to turn off and I will listen to the next person talking.
Thank you. Thank you so much.